Здравейте на всички, аз съм Хънтър и добре дошли в поредния 133 може би епизод. Освен ако пак не ги бъркам естествено, защото би се случва нон-стоп. На Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Продължаваме поредичката. Сега, върнахме се при Storyteller, защото аз се сетих, че съм продал ножа, за който той ни пита. Съответно, исках да видим в още няколко го имаме. Върнах се назад точно един сейв, за да отидем да си го купим обратно. Естествено, взеха ни така бързи 8000 голд. Ама какво да правим сега, като не знаехме, че ще ни трябва. Така се случва. Нека да видим сега какво ще стане обаче, когато му дадеме ножа. Hand over the stone knife. Frowning, the storyteller stands for a while, holding the knife. Finally, he returns the weapon to you and says heavily, "No question. The knife is made from the Hedron crystal." "No, not made. This stone is the hardened blood of a demon lord, and considering you found it in a square in devastated Canabras, the blood certainly belonged to the Scary and was shed in battle." Това всъщност е може би много важен предмет, се оказа. I wish you interesting adventures. Интересно, между другото, очаквах да се случи нещо повече. Трябва да съм честен. Не се случи нещо повече, обаче много любопитно наистина. Много любопитно. Все пак. Сега трябва да слезем надолу. Искам през това да пием водичка. И продължаваме с адската лудница тук. Къде беше изхода? Сега, трябва да отидем при Шамира. Мисля, че това е единствения ни квест тук. От ремейството го Шамира. Share the recently acquired knowledge, or perhaps not. Everyone knows that the demon instincts is to rebel at all costs. Sometimes conspicuous disobedience can lead to greater respect than diligent service. Тук интересно нещо ни подсказва, че мога да направим. Добре, сега ще разберем. Важното е да получим това, което ни трябва. Нактико изглежда интересно тук на статуята. Предполагам, че съвсем скоро ще се видим с нея. Надявам се да не трябва да се бием с нея, обаче. Не съм сигурен, че сме готови. Макар че ние сме 17 левел, сме си близко до Godlike от всякъде. Трябва обаче да се справим с Echo of the Scary. Проблем е, че още не мога влезваме при него да му се види. Обаче сега ще видим. Аз между другото не е лошо, направо както сме тука. Да си направя едно лично майндър, защото то седи адски много време, 24 часа и толкова, в което прави много перфектен. Една минута на Legendary Proportions, вижте какво прави този Legendary Proportions. Това ще бъде страхотно. Добре, обаче не първо ще пътнем на Share с Greater Heroism. И даже аз не трябваше да го правя това сега. Добре, нищо, ще пъвнем на Реджио с Heroism. Те са ни най-важните damage dealeri, така че трябва да имат тези неща. Realm of Ardent Dreams с следващата ни спирка. Следващата ни спирка, която започваме... Още нищо не започваме. Отиваме да ви кажем на Шамира някакви неща. Сега ще видим какво ще кажем. Обаче трябва да направим quick save, да видим как да си подберем приказката. Така да се каже. If an angel can fall, does that mean a demon can ascend? Good logic. Absolutely, I think. Това би означало абсолютен баланс на нещата, често казвам. Така, преди да влезем, правя, както казах, едно quick save, че за всеки случай. Интересно. Си мисля, че сме напълно кръв, защото ми дава, че са ми взели някаква. Странно. А защо съм от 233 кръв? Не бях ли на 199? Какво се случва тук, върна? Да не съм сложил някой нов артефакт и да съм забравил за него. Някакъв бъф има. Не, ясно. Добре, нека да видим сега. Шамира. After she notices you, Shamira gives you a displeased frown and irritably asks you again, have you no friends that you must keep coming here to catch with me? Or perhaps, though I find this extremely hard to believe, you're not completely useless and have something of interest to me. Perhaps you will find this interesting. The words of the hand of the inheritor reverberate sternly inside your mind. This blade served you well in your fight against the corruption that tainted the Wardstone. It has proven that its plain appearance does not match the power hidden within. If Shamira sees its power, she will desire it. It is wise to tease her appetite and toy with her greed. Do not show the stone knife. Чакай сега. Странно. Shamira examines the knife with interest. Curious, let me take a closer look. The knife is wrenched out of your hand and flies to Shamira like an arrow, only to land gently in her palm. After examining, the demon gives a brisk note. Yes, this is definitely an interesting item. I'll be keeping it. Give me back the knife you stole. The demon lets out a mocking chuckle. Or else what? You'll complain about me? To whom exactly? Така си загубихме ножката. Няма да стане. Няма да стане, баце. Няма да й даваме значи ножката. Аз си помислих, че ножката е алтернатива, обаче ножката май е по-силният артефакт. Добре, значи трябва да си играем с задачата и не трябва да й показваме ножа, всъщност. Окей. Ножката си остава за нас. Аз даже ще си я екипирам, за да не я забравим някъде. Ножката даже може да се окаже, че ще ни е полезно да си я носим, не? Добре, тук разбрахме, че ножката е адски важна. Тя всъщност, той сторителъра си ни каза, че е доста важна, обаче аз някакси не й придадох много такъв сериозен аспект. Не я възприех толкова сериозно. Така. I've completed your task. Shamira ignores you looking somewhere else, but in your mind you hear her angry hiss. So speak, if you have. But use your mind instead of your flapping lips. Your mind. I know that you have done much to win Shamira's favor, but my heart tells me that helping her would lead to evil. Forget everything I've told you. We'll find another way to complete our mission. It is wrong to fight evil by increasing the power of another evil. Reject the promises of the ardent dream, and we will leave this place before we betray ourselves and our ideals. I do not serve you and I will not tell you anything. Shamira gives you a venomous smile and you can read your sentence in her eyes. That's right, you don't serve me. You're an outsider and by Nocticulus will, no one can lay a finger on you. But who will stop me? Shamira's magic crushes over your will. With a bit of effort, you manage to force Shamira out of your mind, an angry grimace contorts her face. You can't break me. Cursing, Shamira brings more force to bear against you. A vein pulses on her temple. The latest attack is much stronger, but you muster all of your willpower and again manage to fend it off. Keep trying, it won't work. Swearing, Shamira unleashes all of her power on you. You will regret that, you little son of a bitch. You refuse to talk, so be it. I'll just rip everything you know out of your mind. Shamira's last blow is not strong enough to break you. You force Alushinira's ruler out of your mind, delivering a brutal parting blow. You've lost. Get out of my head. Shamira reclines on her throne, exhausted, and hisses through clenched teeth. You cretin! Get out of my harem now! Blazing hum raises among the throng of spectators who witnessed your confrontation. You hear an angry curses directed at you, but they ring hollow. For the first time in centuries, Shamira has received a public dressing down, and witnessing it was a true delight for the assembled demons. И сега какво? Ние май фейлнахме абсолютно всичко.
You are most curious, mortal.
Опа! You hear in your head a female voice, melodious, low, and sensual. Who are you?
I am the one whose attention you have been seeking for so long. I am Nocticula, ruler of the Midnight Isles.
Так. I take it I finally have your attention.
Yes, your arrival in Alashanira was quite impressive. Rumors have reached me even here, behind my locked gates and my wall of valiant guards. Rumors of a remarkable Galarian taking my Alashanira by storm.
You hear a hint of approval in her voice. So what do you need?
I would like to meet you in person, my remarkable and daring Galarian guest. You have been granted a great honor, an audience with a lady in shadows.
Изчакайте само една секунда. Много бързо. Точно продължаваме.
You have my permission to enter the palace. Go there and wait. I will arrive when the time is right. Until then, you will be taken care of by one of my servants.
Това не звучи много добре. Това ще видим. Добре. Значи, въпреки че не успяхме да спечелиме уважението на нейните приближения, спечелихме нейното уважение въпреки това. Това е страхотно. Къде трябва да отидем сега? Мисля, че трябва да се телепортираме. Порталчето ще ни подскаже на къде сме. Се оказа, че тази ножка е изключително важна. Направо не ми се вярваше, честно казвам. Добре. Само това, което ме притеснява е, че ние сме на края на главния квест тук. А още не сме отишли да се биеме с какво беше там в Дескари? Shadow не. Как беше? Абе, тази гадинката на Дескари. И не можем да влезем при него, което е най-тъпото. Нещо сме изтървали, може би някъде. Ама ние бяхме тук навсякъде. Къде отивам аз? Ние не сме насам. Ние сме тук по главния път. Значи тук няма 6-5. Момент. Тук. Хилче бързо. Да си знаем, че каквото и да ни очаква сме готови. Това е замъка. Сейф. Преди да влезем за всеки случай. Че знае се. mighty demon has his chin lifted arrogantly, glances at you with no hint of interest. What is this place you're guarding? After considering whether you're worthy of his attention, the demon deigns to answer. This palace is Lady Nocticua's residence, mortal. Uninvited guests are not welcome. I want to go in. Our lady ordered us not to bar your way. Така. Но много ясно, брат. Ranged weapons don't normally use ammunition. However, you can find magic quivers let you make a limited amount of special attacks with any bow or crossbow. Да, това малко ме дразни, между другото, с тия лимитинг стрелички, защото някакси аз поне не мога да го... Не си го представям как ще го контролирам това нещо, така че да стрелям когато трябва такива стрели и когато не трябва да ги сменям, за да не ги хабиме. The tall shelves are stuffed with countless books and scrolls, praising the Lady in Shadow's many deeds. Some tomes are old and threadbare, others are new and in mint condition. Тук имаме сега Knowledge World. The ink on the page is still wet. The book tells of the murderous massacre committed by the Lady in Shadow amongst the colossus demons of Midnight Hours. It seems it happened quite recently. Така, тук имаме само скуби. Имаме Knowledge World тук. Някакъв. Може би пак да сейвнем, защото тук не се вижда какъв е чека. Някакъв висок да трябва да се бъфнем и да го минаме. The Lady in Shadow's library is called the Vault of Graves. It contains the biography of everyone whose life Nocticua has ever taken, and her victims are unnumberable. Тук виждаме всякакви неща, които са свързани с... Да, това го четохме вече. Преди да продължим напред, сега да гледаме какво става тук. Здрасти, господин Гард. Оп. Прожектор. Това е като тези прожектори на Рио, всъщност. На всичкото отгоре тук имаше Midnight Bolt. И някакъв Perception check фейлнахме. Чакайте сега. A pile of sketches. The drawings depict fragments of various rituals that lead to the opening of rifts and portals. Веднага го намерих. Супер. Тук. Lexicon of Paradox Part 2. И? Какво е това? I can use it. The last threshold. Many mortal researchers have ventured to turn their scientific curiosity in the phenomenon that is the world wound. Nothing that it appears to have life its own. Strange natural phenomena, spontaneously arising raptures, unique vegetation, and living creatures found neither in Galarian nor in the abyss. Everything is constantly in flux, appearing and disappearing at unpredictable intervals. Through this movement and alteration, if not through its order, one can detect the logical function of the organs of a living being. The truth is that indeed the world wound possesses a semblance of life, and its very structure presupposes a connection to a living soul. This line of reasoning sometimes leads me to unscientific implications. Namely, if the creation is in essence a reflection of the creator, then can we say that the world wound is a reflection of my soul? The world wound was created and then improved, and at the same time a being of duality was cobbled together from the essence of the abyss and the essence of a mortal soul. Normally this process requires an essence taken from a creature with strength comparable to that of an imperial or abyssal lord. But there are ways of circumvent this requirement, in particular through the use of the Nahidrian crystal's rare power. In this section, I refer to this being as the key, an instrument that allowed me to significantly expand and strengthen my original creation. Due to his dual nature and connection to the world wound, the key was given the opportunity to obtain amazing powers. However, everything has a price. The world wound is linked to the key, but the key is also linked to the world wound and carries it in his soul like a deadly affliction. О, знаете ли какво? Това все повече и повече започва да ми говори за нас. Дали ние не сме точно Essence of Immortal Soul. Мисля, че ние сме този експеримент. Being as the key. Дали не сме ние ключът? Може би ние сме ключът в цялата тази работа. Както тя казва, this section I refer to this being as the key. Интересно. This affliction is indeed fatal. The duality of the soul grants amazing powers and primes the soul's honor for transformation and for the bestowing of incredible abilities. But this duality is also slowly killing the soul's honor. This is a problem I have to yet solve. Мисля, че това сме ние. Тя е експериментирала върху нас и ние сме ключа. Ние сме свързани с раната на света по някакъв начин. И всъщност раната на гърдите ни е точно това нещо, което най-вероятно ни чупи душата, но пък ни дава невероятни сили. И сега като дадем юз какво? The second half of the lexicon of paradox lies before the commander. Many mortal researchers have ventured to turn their scientific curiosity on the phenomenon that is the world wound, noting that it appears to have a life of its own. The secrets of the architect of the world one laid bare. All that remains is to absorb them, make sense of them, grasp their true meaning. The letters written by the hand of a real varnish appear to have a life all their own, a moment's intention, and they begin to disperse, changing shape and moving toward the edge of the page, as though they are planning to leap off. Focus on the text. Just as attention focuses on a couple of words that seem to have only just swapped places, the words freeze as though they never moved at all, but out of the corner of his eye, the commander sees several words on the other side of the page being a discrete game of leapfrog set aside. Нищо не стана. Очаквах, че втората част ще ни даде Power sketches depicting fragments of various rituals, opening rifts and portals. Тук books written in multiple languages. The titles that can be translated are dedicated to research into the nature of souls. Очаквах да вдигнем митичен левел. Трябва да съм честен. As you know, my dear addressee, given the scope of the planes, time is a relative concept. And in the abyss it can be even more unreliable. Therefore, I do not allow myself the vain hope that my message will reach you in time. Значи времето се движи различно, докато сме в The Abyss. Интересно. Тоест може да ни е отнело години и да сме тук всъщност. А ние да сме били тук примерно няколко седмици. Или обратното. Да се едно нашия свят да са минали няколко дена. Пък тук да са минали месеци. Your final question was about the possibility of a complete awakening of the memories of a mortal life within a soul that has already passed through pharasmal judgment. I will send you the research on all the cases of which I am aware where such an awakening took place. Mysterious Stranger. Това ми напомня на Fallout. Да видим какво... Complete awakening of the memories of mortal life. Despite the fact that this list is quite extensive, my conclusion is that all such recorded cases are the rarest exceptions to the rule, and with the absolute majority of souls, an occurrence such as this cannot happen. Айде, че ни падат бъфовете съобщения, господин. Може ли по-бързо? Така да се сменяте. Both the wonder and the tragedy of mortality lie in the fact that there is a certain moment after which the process is final and irreversible. The essence that departs the judgment of the Lady of Graves is no longer what it was in life, and we as scientists must account for this in the system of knowledge we are constructing. Интересно, тук говорят за смъртта на някакви неща. Дали говорят за безсмъртие или нещо от сорта? Не ми стана много ясно какво стана тук, но окей. Така, тук тук видяхме и намерихме втората част от тома. Какво има от другата страна сега? Какво седи? Ето тук. Тук седят разни съкибуси и се разхождат най-нагло. Ние още по-нагло ще им съберем тук всякакъв джънк, какъвто са събрали. Без всякаква срама. Защото не вярваме, че да крадеш от демони е кражба. Примерно. Така. Решил веднага на души нещо интересно. Заключен кабинет. Дайте този лут. Това мастерворк ли? О, идеално. Добре, фанахме някакви джънкове за продаване. Така, искам първо да видим преди да отворим скритото нещо, защото очаквам там да е истинския лут. Да отключим тия неща. Какво намерихме? Емералд. 500 голд в общи ни намерихме. Не бих казал, че кой знае какво. Продължаваме напред тогава. Имаме статуя. Това. Tall shelves are stuffed with countless books and scrolls praising lady shallow deeds. Some tomes are old and threadbare, others are new and in mint condition. Чакай сега, това не го ли четохме вече? Защо го има и напред? Аз тук... Our Lady in Shallow, the Queen of Midnight Isles, Lady Nocticula, Demon Lord of Darkness and Lust. Тук... Аха, цяло се продължава. Добре, тук са гардовете. Предполагам, че насам е тронната зала. Затова глеждаме първо тук какво има, обаче няма нищо друго. Така че мисля да правим този quick save и най-накрая да се видим с нея in person. Да видим какво ще се случи. Не можем да говорим. Можем да говорим с тия гардове. My blade serves Nocticula. Lady in Shadow. Тук какво става? Нищо интересно. Аз обаче трябва да се разходя и с всички тук краища на нивото. То насам не може да се ходи. Окей. Значи е време. Да. Interesting. Justin. Забравя да кажеш Justin. A steady shadow comes toward you. In its hands, a small mirror sparkles and shimmers with an unsettling light.
Greetings, Commander.
Дреч. Чакай, бе! Това е Рил! Wait, what? Къде е Ноктикула? Или Арило служи на Ноктикула, или пък са партньорки. Или партньори. Може би партньорки да е правилно казвам. Съм сигурен вече.
To express my deepest admiration of your work, and may I just ask...
Under Arilo's imperious gaze, Nennion stutters and awkwardly falls silent. Fancy seeing you here. I have a lot of questions for you.
You are looking for answers. That's good. That is why I am here. I have much to tell you.
A hint of smile dances across Arilo's lips.
You have walked a long path, one where shadows constantly flicker at the edge of your vision, and questions multiply like flies above carrion. It is time for answers, at least some of them.
Гласа и между другото ми напомня на Флемет от Dragon Age. Ама не съм сигурен дали същата актриса, даже въобще може и да не е. Обаче не знам защо, сега като го слушам, гласа и страшно ми напомня на Флемет от Dragon Age изведнъж. Ariel lifts her mirror and you fall into its cold, shimmering depths. Какво стана? Пак части от историята тук. Не сме паднали, тя е при нас.
Aradus 4715. Experiment, transformation. Subject, let's skip that. Objective, to embed the essence of an Ahindrian crystal in the soul of the subject.
Yep.
Expected result, The essence will coalesce with the subject soul, which will ready itself for total transformation, triggering the concomitant powers. The time has come to put my plan into action.
But what's the plan? Какво се опитва да постигне с това нещо ултимативно? Е въпросът. Да, ние сега знаем какво стана.
You are my creation. Your power was my gift. Now you know.
Ariel stares at you, her gaze unrelenting, probing. The witch is silent for a long time. When she speaks, her voice is unreadable, betraying no emotion. Let's say I believe you. Why did you need to do all this?
You are asking the right questions, but the time has not yet come.
Това не е честно.
Such special memories. Remember the laboratory, do you? I told you back then. Go on, look around. See all the ones Lydia really worked on. Here with us is definitely the place for you.
The dredge grins in satisfaction. The unseen angel does not speak, but his silence seems to thunder in your ears. Той започна май да не ми вярва.
Your power is of the same kind as that of Nulkineth, Jeribeth, and the other demons that you have met. The power of the Nahindrian crystal dissolved into the blood lies within your soul. I have already hinted at this to you once before, when I left the essence along with the lexicon of paradox in my old laboratory, and ordered the suture to make sure the gift found its way into your hands.
Suture. Suture. Добре.
But there is more. Do you remember when you were taken to Canobris with a wound that would not heal?
Yep.
Do you remember how Terendelev apparently healed you?
Yep.
That was merely an illusion. The dragon was only able to temporarily dull the pain. In fact, it was I who saved you, when I came to you in the caves and implanted a crystal within you. No, saved is not the right word. Your wound is still not healed.
Това го знае.
That is why your wound weeps blood from time to time, every drop of which burns your enemies.
И същевременно ни унищожава душата. Ауч. Добре, защо трябваше сега да ни го покажат това? As if to confirm her words, blood begins to seep from the wound on your chest. Eerie flames seem to dance within the crimson drops.
This is pure essence of Nahindrian crystal. My invention is far superior to the crystals used by Xanther, which were barely refined at all. It will give you new strength and help you to overcome the wound that still slumbers within your soul. Take it. Take it and you will see that this is the very power that has lived in you since the Battle of Canobris.
With an elegant flick of her wrist, Ariel conjures a familiar purple shimmer in the air before her. That's not going to work. You need to tell me everything first.
Very well then. Ask your questions and I will answer.
Ariel winces slightly but quickly regains her composure. What is this wound in my soul? How dangerous it is?
It was my mistake. My failure. I failed to... The tale is too long to recount here. Your wound is a reflection of the world wound in a way. It is very dangerous, even if you do not yet realize it. It is not a disease, but rather an abscess, which will one day burst and kill you. It cannot fully be healed until the world wound is healed.
Да, ние сме свързани, както си мислех. A shadow falls across Ariel's face.
No doubt you have felt this affliction on several occasions. It awakens when you use your power. It makes you sense more strongly what mortals call the corruption of the abyss. Until the world wound is healed, you will have no peace.
You follow me. Чакайте сега. Tell me about the Nahindrian crystal. Start from the beginning.
Nihindrian crystals are formed from the solidified blood of demon lords. Their properties are not well known, even among the inhabitants of the Abyss. And there are reasons for this. Acquiring the blood of a dead demon lord is very difficult. After a demon lord dies, their body is instantly absorbed into the Rift of Repose. Only the Lady in Shadow knows how to kill them in a way that allows her to preserve the bodies of her fellow lords and transform them into a solid state. That means that Nihindrian crystals cannot be obtained anywhere other than the Midnight Isles. Or rather, it was impossible until recently, when I managed to experimentally obtain a crystal from the blood of a still living lord. You saw the result. A dagger made from Discare's freshly shed blood, which I left for you in Canabris. As regards the use of the crystals, that is a discussion that would take time, a very long time. Someday I will finish my groundbreaking treatise on the transformation of Nihindrian crystals, although it is unlikely I will ever publish it.
Значи тази ножка ще изиграе изключително важна роля в битката ни срещу Дискари, най-вероятно. Може би още срещу това Shadow... Чакай сега, то не беше май Shadow of Discari, беше... Echo of Discari. Да, Echo of Discari. Последният въпрос по принцип най-важен, обаче първо нека да я питаме абсолютно всичко. So you figured out how to use the crystals to imbue living creatures with power.
Not just any creatures. Demons. And half-demons. The soul must have a stable connection with the Abyss in order for it to receive the power of the crystal. Experiments involving tieflings and mongrels failed because the voice of the Abyss was not strong enough within them.
Valuable information. The Order will be interested to learn this.
Legend nods and remarks calmly. And I'm not a demon.
I wasn't a demon either when I started. But there are always ways to circumvent, or even to override the laws of the universe.
Ryu's eyes grow distant for a moment.
I changed myself by knitting my soul together with the essence of the Abyss. And I changed you. Do you remember the fits of rage that began shortly after Discare's attack on Canabris? This is how the second half of your soul manifested itself. Not yet fully aware. Not yet awakened. It's a pity you did not choose to let your demonic nature take hold. The result would have been most impressive.
Сам много ми си играе пък с демона, да видим като дойдем от тук какво ще ни каже, а на всичкото отгоре по пътя какви решения ще вземем. Леле, тая игра е много добра, човек.
All those arrogant crusaders, those knights with their eyes ablaze, those pious priests. They have installed at the head of their magnificent army a scion of the Abyss. The creation of the architect of the world wound, whom they so revile.
Да, това може и да е вярно, може и да е така, обаче, въпреки че тя ни е направена и ни е дала тази сила, как я използваме е наше решение. Така че, това, че те са направили това нещо, което тя казва, не ги прави да са в грешка. Всъщност, напротив. Грешката може да се окаже нейна. Зависимо с какво решиме ние. You followed me... Айде да питаме, просто за да питаме всичко.
Like a witch in a fairy tale, I watched over you from birth. From before that even. And I kept detailed notes. You were chosen and prepared for a special destiny.
Защо точно ние?
Aside from this, I helped you. Even when you were unaware of my presence. I saved you and your unfortunate companions when you fell into the crevice in Canabris.
Що не ни помогна в тук последните няколко битки, които водехме в Лушиния? Нямаше да е лошо.
It was I who distracted Minago to allow you to approach the Wardstone. And in Dresden, I appeared under the guise of Yaniel to guide you toward the Sword of Valor.
Знам. Разбрахме.
And I also left you a present in my old laboratory and told the suture to see that you received it. I knew that sooner or later you would find your way there. That place exerts a powerful pull.
As it turns out, you helped me toward the plans of your masters, Baphomet and Discari.
They are not my masters. They are a resource.
Why was that whole ploy with the lab necessary? You even sacrificed your servant, the Suture, for it.
You always have to sacrifice something. I wanted you to go to the laboratory to see with your own eyes what I had been doing and what I am capable of, so it would be easier for you to accept the truth. The laboratory is the place where I prepared your ascent. And the Suture was the only one who I could trust to execute my plan and explain everything. After all, he too once experienced rebirth at my hands. And that is why I was willing to risk his life.
A shadow falls across Ariel's face. It would be better if you just told me everything instead of playing mind games.
Knowledge gained independently through research and experimentation is far more valuable than knowledge that is simply given. That is why I wanted you to go to the laboratory yourself. I just gave you a nudge in the right direction.
Да, това до някаква степен го разбирам. По-добре е ти да се потрудиш, за да можеш да разбереш реално информацията, отколкото просто някой да ти даде, мога да не разбереш за какво става дума в крайна сметка. Просто чуваш някакви неща. It's strange to see you're here in Nocticula's palace. Who do you really serve? Discari? Baphomet?
Both. And neither. I have served both Discari and Baphomet, and not merely as the lowest in the pecking order. But I do not think you'll be surprised when I tell you that to me, both of these mighty lords are merely convenient temporary sources of power. And their time is almost at an end. But the Lady in Shadow is different. She is the preeminent ruler. Soon you will understand this for yourself.
Ariel's tone is indifferent as she informs you of this, as if she were simply commenting on the weather rather than her obeisance before demon lords. My power is different from that of Jeribet, Nulkinet and the other demons.
Yes, because I taught Xanther and the other servants of Baphomet and Discari the earliest version of this transformation ritual. I spent decades perfecting it until I obtained the power that I gave to you. Power in its most purified form, cleansed of the filth and chaos inherent within the original blood of the demon lords.
Тя ги е научила на по-бъгавия ритуал и сега те са някакви такива по-слабички такива. Не могат да се развият както
Your power is as pure as thrice distilled water. But it resonates with other powerful sources of supernatural power, such as the Sword of Valor. And your power can change. You must have realized this already. You have shaped my gift into a form that you yourself have chosen. You are seeking answers, trying to understand the crux of the matter. That is good.
Ariel gives you an uprising look. What I want to know is this. What do you want from me?
Patience. Before we continue, I want you to receive your power.
Ariel nods at the glowing essence. Сега, за последно ние използвахме книгата. Сега няма да е логично да откажем силата. От друга страна, ако пък приемаме тази сила, а това ни убива, мисля, че тук имаме изключително важен избор, който ще се отчете на края на играта. Такъв някакъв доста критичен, бих казал. Много интересно. Единият вариант е да следваме нейния план, но все пак, както каза той, ние ще решим как да използваме силата. В крайна сметка сме свободни да направим това решение, независимо, че тя ни я дава. Другия вариант е да я откажем, но това ми се струва като проста гордост и някакси... не знам, и двата пъта са viable. От една страна честта. I won't eat out of your hand. Дори да сме по-слаби, ще се бориме. Това ми се струва като да избереме честта. Тук ми се струва като да избереме по-хитрата част. Именно да все пак да сме силни и да се справим. За жалост не може да видим за сега накрая какво става, ако откажем силата. Сега ако откажа силата, дали ще дигнем митичен левел е въпрос. Сигурно не. Обаче ако го откажем, ще трябва да се лоудне и то целият разговор много да го правим. Но на мен определено ми се иска да видя и двете страни на монетата. Но какво решение бихме взели ние? Сега вече като знам, че така или иначе тази сила е в мене, по-добре да я взема, за да си увеличим нашата сила и да помогнем на света, отколкото да решим да сме слаби и да трябва да помагаме по някакъв по-труден начин. Защото това само ще ни усложни пътя. Така че ще вземем силата. Touch the essence and the power so familiar and clear flows through you like a river. The power that courses through you is so immense that the wound on your chest closes up as if it had never existed.
Now you know. You truly know.
Enough! Enough of this madness! I was blind. Oh, Lady of Heaven, how blind I was. I saw holiness in the half-fiend's creation.
The voice of the hand of the inheritor thunders beside you. Ariel does not move, seemingly unaware of his presence.
But is it truly possible? Angelic light in a creature of darkness? Am I tricking myself into thinking that I have been deceived? Forgive me, champion. I must leave you. I must collect myself. Pray. Reflect. Find me in the Nexus.
There is no life in the angel's voice. He adds dully and disappears.
I want to help you close the world wound.
What a surprising turn of events. Ariel looks at you for a while, then she speaks. And there she is, the lady in shadow. Was in shadow for a long time. Изчака ангела да се тръгне и си дойде. Ariel's words are cut off by a quiet laugh. Sitting on the throne that was empty just a moment ago is none other than Nocticola, ruler of Lushinira and the Midnight Isles, a powerful demon lord and the one they call Our Lady in Shadow. Her red lips curl into an ironic smile and her large eyes observe you with keen interest.
You were about to say, we are going to close the world wound, weren't you, Arilu? I see no reason to continue deceiving this mortal. Now I am convinced that he is quite worthy of serving me. I will even reward him with a modicum of knowledge about the events in which he is about to take part.
Greetings to you, Our Lady in Shadow.
Rachel swiftly drops to one knee and bows her head.
It's nice to see that even surrounded by mortals, you haven't forgotten who your mistress is, Arushale. You may rise.
Nocticola nods casually in the succubus direction.
I didn't mean to. I don't know why I did it.
Rachel stands up awkwardly and looks at Nocticola first, then at you with a stunned expression. A word of warning, don't play games with me, I'm not afraid to fight
Do
you.
I truly frighten you so, mortal? That you must reach for your weapon? Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you.
She arches an eyebrow sarcastically.
I have had my eye on you for a very long time. You see, it was at my behest that Lady Vorlesh imbued you with such incredible powers. But I was curious to see your worth as an individual, not as Lady Vorlesh's creation. Thus, I decided to postpone our meeting and see how you'd fare in Alashanira, and whether or not you could win respect and power among those not so easily impressed by outstanding magical abilities. Well, you've passed my test adequately by proving that your character and your will are stronger than the Nehindrian powers Lady Vorlesh has vested in you.
Yep.
You are wise, my lady. However, only those who have never known or forgotten what it is like to be mortal can so easily dismiss the importance of power. To be someone whose life is fragile and can be cut short at any moment, like a candle snuffed out by a gust of wind.
It is a shame your angel has left you, mortal. I would have liked to talk to him. I don't expect I will get another chance, as that celestial buffoon's days are numbered.
Noctico's tone is casual, but her eyes are intent, scrutinizing you. Why do you think the hand of the inheritor is going to die?
Because he charged off all alone into the vastness of the abyss. An old friend awaits him there, the Echo of Discari. And the Echo has been anticipating this meeting for a long time.
The hand of the inheritor told me his magic deceived the eyes of all evil spawn of the abyss, but not yours.
Perhaps you don't know everything about me yet, mortal. Perhaps you made the same mistake as many before you, and many who are more insightful and more powerful than you, by presuming to know what to expect from the Lady in Shadow.
Nocticoa gives you a pleased and mysterious smile. Tell me about the Echo of
He is
Discari.
a strange creature, a bespoke creation, so to speak. Long before the world wound was opened, Discari, that little cricket, was seeking a way to have some fun on Galarian and assert his influence there. One day, he decided to gather a few strong mortal followers, fuse them together into one being, and pump that being full of his own power, in the belief that something worthwhile would come of it. That is how the Echo came to be. To the great dismay of both the Echo and the Lord of Crickets, the Echo was greeted by Eredin, protector of humankind. Eredin gave the Echo such a thorough thrashing, the whole abyss thought him dead. And yet he was not. Cricket, the younger, is alive and well, though I cannot say the same for Eredin. But the Echo remembers his humiliation still. He hates anything and everything related to Eredin, especially his inheritor, Iomedae. Her heralds, her priests, her temples. He would hate Iomedae's pet pug, if she had one.
Okay. Why does the Echo of Discari prey upon the hand of the inheritor?
Envy, humiliation, ego. The usual playthings of little boys from all planes and realities. The Echo suffered more than one defeat. First at Eredin's hand, then under the onslaught of the forces of heaven. Those routes taught him to attack his enemies by stealth, boldly and often, killing and crippling anyone close to the light-bringing goddess. Now, it seems, he has decided the time has come. The herald of Iomedae himself is in the abyss alone, without a retinue of lesser angels.
I see.
He's an interesting little bird, that angel. Before he became the herald of Iomedae, he served Regathiel, the general of vengeance.
Това не звучи
I've
добре.
always found the fate of that imperial lord to be quite fascinating. Did you know that the father of the Upper Plains' top military leader was a devil from hell? Regathiel had to achieve
Забавно.
many feats to redeem his unholy legacy in the eyes of the other imperial lords. But he did. A remarkable tale. is it not?
Ето, че явно и демоните и дяволите могат да се издигат. Това е чудесно. Your conversation is interrupted by a concentrated looking succubus who silently approaches Nocticula and then begins fervently whispering into her ear. Nocticula's expression turns hard and cold as Nocticula ponders the new development. The messenger makes eyes at you playfully. You recognize those green eyes, except they were awash with pain when you last saw them. Their owner bleeding out in the caverns of the Nexus. The succubus smiles slyly and gives you a wink.
Another island, another loss. Enough! I warned them that I would not stand for the desolation of my realm. They have not heeded me, and they will regret it. Go to your sisters and tell them to prepare.
There is steel in Nocticula's voice. Nocticula sends the green-eyed servant away and turns her face to you once again. That green-eyed succubus, I know her, Chaksa.
Yes, you've already met Laulia, my talented assistant. I've heard she was very convincing at acting out her tragic death in the minds of the Nexus. As you can see, I've been watching you since your very first moments in the Abyss. And even a little earlier.
Окей, значи да, не трябваше да се доверяваме дори на умиращите вратчета.
I have
Тежко.
prepared a beautiful intrigue that will topple many of your enemies and seal the world wound forever, ending the threat to Galarian. And you have the chance to become part of that intrigue.
My companion Ember would like to speak with you.
Ember? So that's her then? Well, approach. I have heard you bleeding your pathetic prayers at me. You have some nerve addressing me with such nonsense. Did you think I would simply repent? Renounce my status as a demon lord? Do you have any idea what I had to do to acquire it? Wait, what is this?
Cocking an eyebrow, Nocticula looks down on her. Tears are rolling down Ember's cheeks as she sniffles noisily. She presses her maimed hands against her heart as she stares up at Nocticula. Her fragile form shudders from weeping. Aurelio wrinkles her nose in disdain. Why have you brought this simpleton here? This is Oceanira, not Nerosian. Don't give alms here.
I can't stand these noises. Do you think you're the first to try to move me with a display of tears? It only makes me angry. If you wish to speak, then wipe your nose and speak clearly.
Добре. Имаме напредък. Nocticula throws a disgusted look at the crying girl.
I know what you had to do to others and to yourself. I'm so sorry. So sorry. If only I could ease your pain somehow. Calm your sorrows.
Ember wipes her face with her sleeve. You should hear her out.
In my realm, I decide to whom I should listen and whom I should hang. Be quiet. You wanted me to hear the girl out. Then let her babble on until I tire of her. So, where were we? My pain? My sorrows? What nonsense are you talking? Don't tell me you pity me.
Този разговор ще бъде много забавен.
I'm so sorry. You're the most miserable soul I've ever seen. I've seen people burned alive. People being devoured by monsters. People burying their children. They were in pain. So much pain. But I've never seen anyone in as much pain as you.
After taking a trembling breath, Ember wipes the tears streaming down her face.
What is this saccharine drivel? What do you even know of me, Nat?
I've seen your city. You were the one who built it. It is the way you wanted it to be. It holds all of your dreams, all of your heart, and everyone in this city is suffering. Everywhere, all the time, every minute. All who live here are hurting and scared. If these These are its citizens. How miserable must its ruler feel?
Wow.
And this is what you brought her to me for. You think this infantile sniveling is worthy of my attention?
Nocticula's lip curls in distaste. I've seen the truth of her wisdom more than once. Perhaps it would benefit you to listen to her as well.
As if I hadn't seen enough sanctimonious bores in my life. So, what do you suggest I do, preacher? Beg the good gods' forgiveness? Devote myself to serving a sword-swinging upstart, perchance? Or that old crone, the moon?
Nocticula stares Ember straight in the face.
No. No. Gods can't help anyone. They're just like us mortals. Silly, frightened, clueless. You're almost a goddess yourself. You know better than anyone that no one can save you. No one except you.
Save me? From what exactly?
From yourself. From what you've done to yourself. From the city you've imprisoned yourself in. Listen! You are a queen, but you're the queen of pain and filth. Your realm is a realm of your own suffering. You're almost a goddess. You can do anything you want. So why won't you make yourself happy? You could become the Redeemer Queen.
Wow, Ember's voice rings desperately.
The Redeemer Queen! That's new. Never in all my years have I heard anything like that. Well, child, enough joking. Get out of my sight, or I'm afraid I might decide to keep you here forever as my fool.
Tilting her head back, Nocticula explodes with wild laughter. Her body is shaking and she doubles over, slapping her thighs with her palms. When she is finally done laughing, she catches her breath. She wipes the tears from her eyes. No, Yaku.
Do you think she took my words to heart?
Upon giving Nocticula a last smile, Ember ducks behind your back. You hear her whispering. Who knows? Ще сме позитивни. Probably.
That would be great.
I told you to get out! I don't want to hear your squeaky voice again!
Така, did the real really create me? She has certainly had a hand in your present state of existence. Lady Vorish designed the world one to magical phenomenon of unfathomable power. To seal it, we required a key that was just as strong and unique. Simply put, we required a champion, and she chose you. Both your powers and that wound on your chest were the result of her experiments, when she infused your soul with the essence of the abyss. Of course, you remember none of that. Everything was done in secret. Even the power granted to you was purified to the extent that it was possible, so that you would not guess its source ahead of time. In trial after trial, we watched your will be tempered, and when the time came, we started filling you with the energies of Nahedrian crystals. These energies are necessary for the task at hand. Everything that's happened to you was part of my intrigue. I was going to summon you and reveal the truth when the time was right. Instead, you have followed your queen's orders and arrived here early. One can only hope that you are prepared to accept the truth. Everything has its price, says Ariel quickly. Your wound was, in essence, the flip side of all my experiments. There was a reason why we required a true champion, not mere a living tool whom we could fling into the flames of the world wound and close it like any lesser rift. I think you should know that. Nocticula makes a sudden gesture, cutting Ariel off. Don't be too hasty. We have burden him with enough revelations for now. Give him time to become accustomed to the truth about himself, then you can share all the details. I want to know more about you. Recounting my whole story will take longer than your brief mortal life allows. The list of demon lords I've slain is endless on its own, as is the number of islands under my rule, and that's just the past. There's also my future. How did you become a demon lord? Bear in mind that I have always been unique. Ever since I was born, I was the first succubus of the abyss, the perfect specimen of my race. I had been enjoying my youth, sharing it with my brother and lover, until the hungry gaze of the demon lord Nahidri fell upon me. That greedy tyrant saw me as a jewel to be added to his treasure hoard. He tried to abduct me. I knew I had no chance of defeating a demon lord, but in that moment I was not thinking at all. I was fighting for my freedom. When it was all over, Nahidri was dead. I eviscerated him, and for many days afterward blood spewed from his open carcass. First his body turned to stone, and then his blood, which had been flowing like a stream, began to crystallize into massive purple glaciers. Now do you see why they are called Nahidrian crystals? Perhaps they should be called Nocticulum crystals, because as Nahidri's blood crystallized, so did my understanding of my power. Soon after, I began my campaign of conquest. I was cunning and swift, and the demon lords themselves trembled before me, knowing I could take their very lives. Only when all of the abyss spoke my name with terror and reverence did I decide that I had killed enough. I had a realm, I had power I no longer shared with my brother. I had servants, and most importantly, I had safety. No one has ever repeated all Nahidri's mistake. No one has tried to make me their slave. Are the Midnight Isles really the corpses of slain demon lords? Yes, my realm is quite literally built on the bones of my slain enemies. Ironic, isn't it? How did you turn dead demon lords into islands? Nanticool responds with a mocking smile. Surely you don't expect me to reveal the secret to you. There is no need for mortals to learn the weakness of demon lords. All I can say is that everything started with my desire for revenge. After I had dealt with Nahidri, I was furious at the thought of that vile, lecherous wretch just teleporting over to the Rift of Repulse, where he could turn to stone and stay there to rot for the remainder of eternity. I wanted to trample his foul corpse, to keep his bloody body within my sight forever. I yearned to display my glorious trophy to all of the abyss, and that's when my power first manifested. I studied my newfound abilities and learned how to use them. Before long, I possessed not just one island, but an entire archipelago. What do you plan to do next? Subdue all of the abyss? Possibly, or perhaps I have something grander in mind. The abyss? Who cares about the abyss? Nanticool's full-throated laughter rings out like a challenge to the entire world. Това е опасно. It's always nice to indulge one's curiosity. I have a question. From her sleeve, Nenio produces a pencil and a piece of paper. Lady Nocticool, how many copulation partners have you had? I'm making a list for the encyclopedia, and I believe you may take one of the top spots. Reggie lays a hand on his weapon. His face remains impressive. Какво? Impassive. For a few tense moments, Nocticool peers into Nenio's face and yours, then smiles with the slightest curve of her lips. What matters to me is not quantity, but quality, and I am well ahead of any other designant of the abyss in that regard. That is where we will end this discussion. I want to ask you about other powerful designants of the abyss. Are you interested in one of my servants, or do you wish for me to tell you something about your enemies? What is your relationship with Aurilu? She works for me, isn't it obvious? Lady Vorlesh is very talented. She may be the most brilliant and capable mind ever to come from your plane. And the guile she used to betray one demon lord master after another impressed me so much that I offered her the position of my advisor on matters of magic. Naturally, the esteemed Lord Gold and Lord Locust don't know a thing about the betrayal of their faithful lackey, Lady Vorlesh. I plan to keep it a secret for a while longer. Betrayal is too strong a word. I opened the path to Golarion for those two, and I told them how to extract power from the hidden crystals. That will suffice. Doesn't it bother you that Ariel serves another master? Nocticola smiles deviously. I'm not prone to jealousy. Let the scary thing Lady Vorus serves him still. His bug brain seems incapable of sensing betrayal. As for Baphomet, he, like any talented liar, is most vulnerable when he is trying to deceive someone else. He was so pleased to have fooled the Scary that he became blind to the treachery that was happening right under his nose. In truth, Lady Vorus's loyalty is mine alone. Loyalty is for fools, shared interest, that is what rational minds rely upon. That and fear. No one in their right mind would oppose the Lady in Shadow. How did the real become your servant? When the World Wound was first opened, it only led to the Scary's realm, but then there was another more powerful breach. The wound expanded and its paths now passed through my realm, and Baphomet's as well. Before long, all sorts of interlopers had heard about the power contained within the crystals here, and the Midnight Isles were soon overrun with agents from my new neighbors. They flouted my embargo, burrowing greedily into my rocks, stealing my crystals. The main culprit was one Ariel Vorlish. She was the one who discovered the energies of the Hydrian crystals. I had captured her and was about to carry out her agonizing execution when Lady Vorlish offered me something I desired even more than her death. She entered my service, and her main task since then has been to close the World Wound. Once it is sealed, my realm will once again be cut off from those of Baphomet and the Scary, and their slaves will no longer be able to infiltrate my islands with such ease. Do you remember the elven mage who used to serve you thousands of years ago? He's still alive, we know each other. Really? He was well past his youth even back then, and now? Just how old is he? Can mortals even live that long? Well, apart from your immortal Aslanti, say hello to him on behalf of the Lady in Shadow. And tell him that the one who repelled him has disappointed me immensely with his incompetence. No matter how hard he tried, he could never live up to my magnificent elf. You know, you've managed to surprise me, a rare occurrence for someone who knows just about everything. With the bat of her eyelashes, Nocticola sends you a piercing gaze, one that feels like it's delving into the deepest corners of your soul. Are Baphomet and the Scary your allies? The Gold and the Locust allies is too strong a word for our relationship. Our connection was forged by circumstance, not of desire to deal with each other. When the World Wound opened, it tied your world to our realms. I did not join my armies with theirs, but I was forced into making peace with them so as not to get bogged down in tiring and distracting war. If I had the opportunity, I would have met them on my terms and expanded my territories at their expense. Nocticola indulges herself with a thin smile. Unfortunately, this is not currently possible. By the way, one of them came to me with the offer of an atrocious alliance that involved conceiving little ones together. I am still contemplating the specifics of my refusal. It needs to be clear and unambiguous. Her ensuing laughter is deep and musical, almost enchanting. Everything is clear. Nocticola gives you a mysterious smile. I killed Willdus, your court mage. Nocticola shows no hint of sadness. I'm aware of this, of course. It is lamentable in a way, since his fear of me was strong enough to make him impeccably loyal. However, his death is but a single move in a much larger game. Games like this, losing a few pawns is unavoidable. There is a passage that leads from your realm to the lair of the Echo of the Scary. I want to go there. Ah, so the cricket's avatar has gnawed his way into my realm, has he? I can guess where he is. I received reports about unusual desperate activity in the slums of the lower city. It won't be easy to break into the Echo's portal, but as a sign of my affection toward you, I will have my servants do it. Keep in mind, however, that such tampering is very difficult to conceal. When the portal is breached, the Echo will know. Окей, значи ще е подготвен. Няма проблеми. Ще го щупим. I wish to inform you of treason. Nocticola looks quite amused. Is that so? Who is it you've decided to inform on? And more importantly, how did you learn of these traitors and how credible are these accusations? A friend of mine, the storyteller, has peered into the future. In his vision, Hibsmira was sending demons after you. The demons were stranded by Nahidrian crystals. A hint of dangerous excitement creeps into her voice. You're fond of knowledge, my dear guest. Let's just say I'm not surprised by her appetites. The ambitions of that brat, or her lecherous gold of a sire, were bound to surface sooner or later, but your warning will encourage me to keep a closer eye on her. You could have gone to Hibsmira with this and received the payment for your silence. Your foresight must not go unrewarded. I said everything I wanted to say. Tickle nods graciously. What exactly are you offering me? I'm offering you the chance to become my weapon. Your enemies are thorn in my sight as well as yours. What's more, I have never schemed against Glorian, nor have my warriors taken part in the conquest of your plane, at least not at my behest. There is no cause for enmity between us. Why would you want to close the wound? When the world wound opened, I was pleased. My realm was now connected to another plane. I wanted to make it into a crossroads of worlds, a place where demons, devils, and even angels could meet. The wound was a convenient path along which I could advance my ideas. But the Midnight Isles were not the only realm that had been linked to Golarion through the wound. The Skari and Baphomet now also had a way from their realms into your plane. Their servants floated my islands and spread out across them like a plague of locusts, killing guests who were under my protection, questioning my rule. They were driven by their lust to conquer and enslave, whatever on Golarion or another abyssal realm. I was forced to shift my focus and express my discontent. Eventually, atop the bones of our servants, we reached an accord. I would let their armies pass and they would comply with my wishes while on my islands. Of course, the accord is a polite fiction. Both the Descarites and the Baphomets are attempting to amass their power and influence in Ulshinira to overthrow me. When they think I'm not watching, they break my taboos and revel in their own impudence. And worst of all, Lady Vorlish told them about the Nahidrian crystals. They realized what kind of power the crystals hold, and now they are determined to mine every last deposit hidden within my islands. And once an island loses its crystals, it becomes nothing but flotsam, slowly sinking into the dark waters of Ishiar. With every lost island, my power is diminished. I could start a war and kill the plunderers, but the major conflict would hinder some of my other plans. So instead, I will teach my neighbors a lesson by orchestrating their ignominious defeat at the hands of a mortal. What do I gain by serving you? If you're so powerful, what do you need? Why do you need me? If I were to make a move myself, it would start a war. Not that I'm afraid of doing so, but it would hamper my more important plans. Baphomet and the Skari could never best me, but they could sow enough chaos and spill enough blood that visitors from other planes would shudder at the mention of Ulshinira. No, I will wage war on my own terms in shadows, and I will remain unseen until I drive my blade into my enemy's back. And since Galfrey happened to send you to my realm, you have the honor of becoming my blade, mortal. Be glad you are wielded by skillful hands. We should also reveal how exactly our blade will be employed. Napticola silences Ariel with a sharp gesture. We can discuss the details later, when the moment is right. Now is not the time for idle conversation. What do I gain by serving you? A reasonable question. One must always serve one's own interests. Well, rest assured that you will be adequately rewarded. I will give you gifts befitting your ambitions, and my patronage, which you can certainly count on, will prove more valuable than any enchanted trinkets you could dream of. How exactly do you plan to close the world wound? She rolls her eyes. It is a complicated magical process. You will receive precise instructions once you've captured the Threshold Fortress on Golarion. There, at the exact spot where Lady Vorlish opened the world wound, you will be able to close it. But first, you will have to crush the Guardians of the Threshold, and their forces are growing by the day. Hibsmira, Baphomet's daughter, is mining a large number of Nahidrian crystals in my realm. These crystals are her secret weapon. No army in Golarion can stand against them. You must stop Hibsmira. If you do not, your world will fall, and my plans will suffer significant harm. At one time, I disclosed the secret of transformation to two servants of Baphomet and Biscari, Xanthi Vang and Mutasaphon. It was well calculated gambit, which bought us time and assured both Biscari and Baphomet of my loyalty. Mutasaphon is Hibsmira's favorite. He oversees the transformation of her army. Hibsmira is currently on another island far from here. The route to that place is plagued by pirates, monsters, tempests, and other more terrifying dangers. Have you heard of the living bubbles of frozen time that swallow airships? And when the ships reach port, their crews discover they've been gone for 100 years. This is not the strangest occurrence you could encounter on your journey. I am willing to provide you with a decent ship and an experienced crew. If you kill Hibsmira, it will stop her sinking any more of my islands, but without giving Baphomet cause to declare war on me. Nocticola casts a sidelong glance at Orishale. Then again, I'm not offering you anything new, as you're already enjoying my favor, Commander. Your companion is a succubus and I'm the succubus queen. This demon follows you around only because I allow it. Tell me, Orishale, are you grateful that I am not forbidding you from traveling with the Commander and fighting against your own kind? The succubus reluctantly lowers her head. You're incredibly generous, Our Lady in Shadow. We are clearly being manipulated into serving as a tool in an intrigue we cannot fully evaluate. Given that we lack complete information, it would be tempting to make use of her resources, but that's what bait in a trap is supposed to be, tempting. Why is it so important to kill Hibsmira? Biscari and Baphomet won't just stand there and watch you close the world wound. They'll send their armies after you, so you will need an army of your own. And that is something that Crusaders won't have for long. Hibsmira is mining more and more Nahidrian crystals to empower her forces when she attacks Golarion. If you don't stop her, the Crusader resistance will be crushed, and the ranks of demons pouring through the world wound into your world will multiply 100-fold. You were sent here to cut off the demon's army supply of Nahidrian crystals, weren't you? Well, that's exactly what you're going to accomplish. I will consider your offer, Lady in Shadow. And accept it, I'm sure. I respect your caution and won't force you into submission. We all stand to gain if you do my bidding of your own volition. A glimmer of approval dances in Ticola's eyes. An interesting destiny lies before you, mortal. You will rise to great heights and play a part in events of titanic proportions. Many would give their life for a chance to tread such a path. Hibsmira visits Alushinir every now and again, but her true lair is far from here. She hides on an island of Colifir, to the northwest of my archipelago. There lies her secret fortress. In deep mines, her slaves dig Nahidrian crystals for the invading army she plans to bring to Golarion. I will give you a magnificent airship and an experienced crew to take you there. It will be a long and perilous journey. Take some time to prepare. If I am to depart for Colifir, your guards must watch over my camp in the Nexus and know who are residing there. Nods regaling. I will send my assassins to ensure that no harm comes to your entourage. Be grateful for my patronage, mortal. I still have some business to take care of in Alushinir. Nocticola nods to herself. Real, you're no longer needed here. As you will, my lady. Real vanishes, but you notice the look in her eyes, pensive and appraising. Nocticola casts a piercing glance at the spot where Ariel was but a moment ago, then stops you with a commanding gesture. There is one more thing we must discuss. The Lexicon of Paradox, Lady Vorish's magical treatise that contains many secrets of the world. You and my servant Lady Vorish were just talking about the Lexicon of Paradox. For many years it has remained split in half, harmless, but what was once divided can be made whole again. Who knows what power the book could impart to its owner? What if they expand the world wound even further, or connect it to other planes? Not a chance. The Lexicon of Paradox has caused more than enough trouble already. You already possess the first half of the book. Find the other one and bring them both to me. I will reward you handsomely. Giving the book into my keeping will also protect Golarion from suffering a second world wound disaster. The Lexicon of Paradox will be much safer under my watchful eye than in your travel bags. Won't you agree? Our Lord of the Abyss wants the book that holds the secret opening the world wound. All with the best intentions, I'm sure. Reggio's frown deepens. I expected a better life from the lady in shadow. This one won't do. Why do you need this book? One world one alone has been enough for a nuisance for me. I want to ensure that some future mage leafing through this book doesn't link my realm to another plane. I'll consider your offer. The reward will not disappoint you, I promise. This dangerous knowledge ought to be locked up securely. I won't keep you any longer. Still have some business. You have taken a liking to my city, I see. Well then, sir, savor it to the fullest and then come back for truly important business. Nocticua's lips parted in a smile that is both predatory and alluring. И имаме левелче на супер високо ниво. Това, което следва е Echo of the Scary, който ще прибиеме. А естествено ще направим един кратък епизод, в който ще вдигнем нашия митичен левел 6, ако не се лъжа, защото вече бяхме 5, това трябва да е 6-тия. Ще получим още някаква масивна сила, която да ни помогне и най-вероятно след като разбиеме Дескари, понеже е Devastation Mythic Quest, даже имаме 2 Mythic Quest, мисля, че тези квестове по принцип ни вдигат Mythic ранг. Time to think. Така трябва да изчакаме също. It's necessary to find a ship that will transport the commander to Corfier. Аз мога да си намеря кораб. Give the spinner of nightmares diary to hero. Добре. Dangerous knowledge. Decide the lexicon of paradox fate. The lady in shadow wishes to obtain. However, few rewards can compare to the value of this book and it may be wiser to deny Nocticula and keep the lexicon. Абсолютно. Абсолютно. Ами добре, това ще бъде всичко от този епизод. Епизодът беше страхотен, разкри се плана до голяма степен, разкри се цялата тази тайна, мистерията, която се въртеше около нас, вече знаем за какво става на въпрос, вече знаем какво представляват тези нахидрен кристали, знаем за лордовете и знаем плана на Рило Ворлеш, поне до някаква степен. До някаква степен вече го разбрахме. Може би се крият някои други така, подробности все още, но вече сме на прав път и играта наистина придоби форма. Очевидно, това, което ще стане сега след като разбиеме Хебзмира, е, че ще се завърнем в Глуарен и ни очаква последната част от кампанията ни за превземането на абсолютно всички замъци и разбиването на всички демонични армии до самия център на световната рана, така да кажем, раната на света. Така че, да, благодаря ви, че гледахте. Надявам се да ви е било забавно. Това от мен за сега. Желая всичко хубаво и чао-чао.